Prices for tech products like graphics cards, gaming consoles, and automobiles could cool down after the $52 billion bill to boost semiconductor fabrication plants in the U.S. passed in Congress. That's going to support companies like Intel. They've long awaited the bill. It might take a little while, though, to affect prices.
As that is playing out, Julie, we just talked to Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger after their challenging quarter late last week, and outlook. He says they're going to be going into a period of austerity, something you don't hear too often from a company like Intel. But here's what he told us.
Boy, this is a time for a bit of austerity, right? We've exited our Optane business. We sold the drone business. I made 6 product exits since we've been here. And those are allowing us to put more focus on key areas. Also, a bit of austerity, Sozzi, allows us to, well, we had stuff that accreted over the last decade that needs to be cleaned up, gotten more efficient as well. So a bit of austerity helps to drive a more accelerated pace to the transformation that we have underway. But we also say, hey, this is the time to invest for the future.
So 3 mentions of austerity by Intel CEO in 38 seconds. Very, very interesting. Caught my attention because I've never heard him say that before. But since he took over in early 2021, they have exited 6 businesses that has freed up about $1.5 billion for them to invest, whether it's to pad profits in some form, maybe didn't show up in the most recent quarter, or just invest in other areas like their foundry business. The next big area for them that they will look to free up is Mobileye. That's the autonomous driving division or software company they bought in 2017 for $15 billion. Gelsinger told me that that divestiture or spinoff is still on track for sometime later this year. That has been a very good business for Intel, really, since it bought the company. Second quarter sales up 41%. I believe the business is profitable. Now, when they announced the spinoff late in 2021, I believe it was early December, it was valued, Mobileye, at close to $50 billion. Whether that's the same valuation that it will come to market with, given what we have seen with private market valuations and just valuations in tech stocks, to be determined. But that could be a nice cash raise for Intel that they can plow that money back into building foundries and maybe flow some to its bottom line.
I mean, at the same time, that's one of the only areas of the company that's growing like that. Mm-hmm. So they lose that.
Yeah, so how does this play out within their balance sheet as well? I mean, what's the take here at the end of the day?
Take here. It's good to hear some austerity coming to Intel. Not that they have been spending willy-nilly the past 5 years, but it's good to hear them say on that conference call last week, you know what? We're not in the drone business anymore. That was the business they got into under prior CEO Bob Swan, I believe. Intel doesn't need to be in drones. It was cool 5 or 6 years ago to say you were in the drone business. The drone market hasn't really necessarily lived up to expectations. Let Intel focus on what it does best, making chips, and it has a lot of work to do in that regard over the next decade.
I was going to say, that business isn't going so well, though, what they do best.
They have some big goals that they have to hit by 2025. And by 2025, Intel expects to get back to product leadership in chips. Let them divest the drone business, let them divest Mobileye, and dump all that money getting back into some form of leadership position over the next 5 years.
I mean, you got to question, though, those goals after this quarter.
And the Street is doing it. Yeah. And the Street is questioning them.
Absolutely.
7 Wall Street downgrades, I believe, after that quarter.